Welcome to another Ask Nerida Joy video. I am here today doing some Q's and A's for some questions that I get asked on my YouTube channel under the comments section. And one of those questions was today, it's an Estie asking that she has clients that feel that their skin is good enough and that they get offended if she suggests something. What can you do? So if a client comes in and lies on your table and you begin a conversation with them just about how do they feel about their skin, you can tell the clients pretty quickly that are not really interested in saying too much to you. Maybe they're there just to relax and not speak, and just not have to talk about their skin. And so in that case, you need to be sensitive enough, and what we say bespoke, to be able to, the body language of your client, how they're verbalizing answers to your questions should be enough for you to be able to gauge how you go from there. So remember, your client's experience, you want it always to be exceptional. And sometimes there's just the days where you're not going to say too much other than, make sure they're comfortable on the table and enjoy your treatment. And if you have any further questions throughout what I'm doing, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm happy to answer any questions for you, and just let them be. But if you have a client that, and she's saying here that they feel that their skin is good enough and they get insulted if you suggest something. If you have somebody who is wanting to talk about their skin, but they're really not wanting to listen to what you have to say, then again, you have to gauge how to communicate that. So what I would do if a client said to me, I think my skin is really good the way it is. I don't need too much going, I feel good about my skin. I mean, for me, that would be a very unusual comment or from somebody, because I know, number one, that people are coming in to see me. They're paying, good money to come in and see me. And usually people that come to see me know that they're going to be learning something from me. They want to learn something from me. So I think that if somebody would come in and say that they're very happy with their skin, I would just say, well, that's great. It's great. Your skin looks really good. And, maybe there's some things that, we could do, if you feel at any time uncomfortable or not sure whether your skin could be in a different place, then I'm happy to discuss that with you. But at least you can, rather than sort of try to force information onto them, you can certainly just say to them that, if at any time you're not comfortable and you feel you're not happy with your skin, I'm certainly happy to help you, in any way I can, to help your skin to take it to that next level. And that maybe is something that you could suggest to them. But usually, if you're, I can understand why someone would be offended if you are doing what I've said in my do's and don'ts in my previous videos. When an esthetician comes in to learn, a client comes in to learn from you, then it's, you don't want to be saying, you need to be doing this and your products aren't any good or whatever it is you're saying to them without even looking at their skin. So whatever you do, don't recommend or don't, whether it be product or treatment, until you've looked at their skin and you've kind of got an idea of how your client feels about their skin. And then you can go ahead and help them grow on their regimen or grow in their treatments in what you're doing. So in other words, it's just, if a client is suggesting that they're somewhat happy with their skin, but they don't really care too much about their skin, then what I would say is that, would you mind, I'm just going to have a look at your skin and just, would you mind if I share with you what I see on your skin? And if there's any way I can make your skin better, I would so love to do that. And you know, I'm sure they're going to say yes, of course. So, you know, at that time you don't have to bombard them with a lot of things, but you could certainly just point out one or two things. And what I usually say is that, you know, your eye area might be really good, but I know we can make it better, and I know that we can make those dark circles at least 20 or 30% better. So it's, you know, sometimes you don't have to say and pull out a lot of things that you might see on your client's skin, but if they're not that accepting of hearing what you have to say, you the professional, then maybe just pull out one thing and just say, would you mind today, I see, you know, your eyes are a little bit tired looking, and would you mind if I did some boosting around your eyes, and let's just pick that eye area up because I know I can get it 20 or 30% better. Something like that. So maybe that's a good suggestion for you also. I hope that's answered your question, because I know you did say that they get insulted when you, or offended when you start suggesting things to them for their skin. So I think that, again, you just have to be sensitive of their body language, and, you know, and just if you can, you know, ask them how they feel about their skin, and then you know the areas that are concern to them and the things that are not a concern to them that maybe you look at and you think, wow, she really needs something done there. But if it's not a concern to them, maybe you can leave that for another time and suggest and say something to them about that for another time. But just always, you know, I always like to cover myself, because I always feel if I'm not educating my client, they're going to go somewhere else to be educated. And if I'm not selling my clients skincare products, they're going to go somewhere else to get skincare products that may not be correct, may not be right for them. So as much as I can, and with feeling and understanding, you know, body language and everything, I will suggest, whether it be in a more direct way, in a firmer way, or in a softer, more gentle way, I always like to be educating people, because I feel that even if maybe they didn't want to hear about it necessarily that day, I want them to know that if they are ever concerned about their skin, that they can always come to me and that I will help them. So that is, and the same with products. You know, maybe I might suggest, and I see that their cleanser isn't great for their skin that particular day, or they're not exfoliating enough, but I want them to know that, you know, that I can see you can do better with your skin with cleansing and exfoliating. And if, when you're ready to make that leap, to be better at that, I'm here to tell you what to do. And I just need you to know that I know we can do better with your skin. And when you're ready for that change, and when you're ready to move on to that next product, then I can absolutely help you with that. So I think that rather than focus on what they're saying to you, focus on what you're saying to them. And just, you can be loving and dear and say it in a very gentle way, or you can be more aggressive. Like, it's all up to you. So regardless of how your client is feeling, whether, you know, they're just not interested in hearing too much that day, you know, I always let them know, even if I'm not saying a lot, that number one, I know what I'm talking about, and number two, that it might just be one thing I pick up on that I just sort of say, you know, if you know, if you're interested in learning more about how to improve anything, the eye area in particular, because that's usually a good area, or the neck, then, you know, please don't hesitate to ask. We have some amazing products out there that really support that area, that can really help lift and hydrate that area. And just whenever you're ready, you know, I can help you with that. So I think, you know, as I said, rather than sort of focus on what they're saying to you, be sensitive, be that bespoke, that you're sensitive enough to your client, you're paying attention to their body language, in whether they're looking at you in the eyes and how they're speaking to you, how serious they are about wanting to learn about their skin, or on that particular day that they come in to see you. Be sensitive enough to understand where they're at, but focus on what you're going to say to them more, that make that appropriate, make that the be all and end all. Is that, you know, whether it be a long conversation or a short one, number one, let them know that you are the professional and that you know what you're talking about. And number two, that you have things that can help them. You have, you know, solutions in how they can be working on their skin better at home. But not only that, you have products that can help take their skin to another level. So I would say focus more on that. And I hope that has answered your question. And I will be back soon with more Q&As, answering more questions for you. Bye.